Did you know that the Pope, the most influential figure of the Catholic Church, carries in his hand an object shrouded in mystery and power? Hidden in plain sight, the Ring of the Fisherman carries mysteries that span centuries. More than a symbol, it has been described for centuries as a mystical artifact, capable of channeling spiritual energies, performing miracles, and even protecting the Church against unseen forces. But where did this ring come from? What does it truly represent? And why do so many stories suggest that it holds secrets capable of changing everything we know about the Pope's role and the Church in the world? There are objects that transcend time, bearing the weight of hidden histories, ancestral secrets, and powers that few dare to comprehend. The Ring of the Fisherman, also known as the Pope's Ring, is one such artifact. Its story takes us back to the early days of the Church, when a small group of Christ's followers defied the Roman Empire in the name of a nascent faith. But how did a simple ring become so crucial? According to ancient records, it was created to be much more than an adornment or a symbol of authority. Ancient writings suggest that the ring was crafted during the Church's formative years, when the followers of St. Peter sought to strengthen spiritual unity in times of persecution. Forged in remote times, it is said that the metals used came from sacred places where celestial manifestations occurred, locations known only to the highest-ranking members of the Church. Relics of saints, such as fragments of bones or sacred tools, were said to have been fused into the ring, creating something unique and possibly supernatural. The engraving on the ring is a ciphered message in itself. Always depicting St. Peter, the first pope, casting his net into the sea, it symbolizes the mission of Peter's successor, to be the fisher of souls and the guardian of the spiritual flock. But does this symbolism conceal something even deeper? Could the ring be an instrument not only of faith but of tangible spiritual power? Christian alchemists of old believed that objects made with sacred geometry and ritual consecration became receivers of divine energies. And the Ring of the Fisherman is no exception. It is said that every line, every curve of the ring was carefully designed to amplify its connection with the divine. Could this be why it has an aura of untouchability, protected not only by men but by something greater? The circle of the ring, a shape without beginning or end, carries powerful meaning. It represents not only the eternity of Christian faith but also the continuity of the Church and its direct connection with God. And, like a wedding band, it seals the unbreakable commitment between the Pope and his sacred mission. This idea of a divine contract prompts the question: could the ring be more than a symbol, perhaps a piece of a spiritual covenant that transcends the earthly realm? But the legends do not stop there. Ancient accounts mention inexplicable events linked to the ring. In secret ceremonies, it is said to have glowed in response to prayers or in the presence of spiritual threats. Was this glow merely a legend, an exaggeration by awestruck witnesses, or something deeper, a tangible manifestation of a divine force hidden within human reach? Another intriguing detail is that each pope receives a unique ring, forged exclusively for his pontificate. This personalization is not merely a symbolic gesture, but also a way to energetically link the ring to the soul of the new pontiff. When a pope dies, the ring is destroyed in a ceremony steeped in mystery. But why? The official explanation is that the destruction prevents the improper use of the ring. However, rumors suggest that this ritual also serves to release the energies accumulated during the papacy, closing a spiritual cycle and paving the way for a new successor. This implies that the ring is not just a symbol of power, but also a reservoir of spiritual forces. And what of the stories of conspiracies throughout the centuries? Many secret orders have attempted to steal the Ring of the Fisherman, not for its material value, but for what they believe to be its unparalleled power. This raises another question. What would happen if the ring fell into the wrong hands? Thus, the Ring of the Fisherman reveals itself as more than just a simple artifact. It is a key piece in a narrative that intertwines faith, power, and mystery. An object that carries not only the Church's history, but also the essence of a spiritual legacy that continues to intrigue and challenge humanity. Since its creation, the Pope's ring has been regarded as much more than a symbol of authority. For many, it is seen as a direct extension of divine will on earth, an object that connects the Pope to spiritual energies accumulated over generations. But how could a simple ring carry such profound spiritual significance? It is said that with each pontificate, the ring becomes a spiritual reflection of its wearer. It is not merely an accessory but an object that absorbs the Pope's essence, his intentions, prayers, and even the challenges faced in defense of the faith. This could explain why many historical accounts describe the ring as a living tool, capable of responding in surprising ways during critical situations. In times of great tension, such as wars or religious schisms, there are records of secret ceremonies in which the ring was used as a channel for spiritual protection. On one such occasion, during the siege of Rome in the 16th century, reports indicate that the ring was placed on an altar while the Pope and cardinals prayed for divine intervention. The result? According to witnesses, the invaders inexplicably retreated, as if an invisible force had repelled them. But is the ring's power real, or is it simply a product of the faith of those who believe in it? This question arises especially in reports of miracles associated with the ring. Some say it has healed illnesses, brought peace to agitated crowds, and even prevented natural disasters. One intriguing example comes from the 19th century, when a pope used the ring to bless a city devastated by the plague. After the blessing, it is said that the disease mysteriously disappeared. Coincidence or a tangible sign of divine power? In addition to miracles, the ring also plays a crucial role in more obscure spiritual ceremonies, such as exorcisms. During one such session conducted by the Pope himself in the early 20th century, the ring was pointed directly at the possessed individual. The official account was omitted, but rumors among clergy claimed that the demonic entity reacted with terror, declaring the ring to be a fire that burns. What could make a physical object provoke such a profound spiritual reaction? Another fascinating mystery lies in the destruction of the ring after a pope's death. The ritual is not merely a practical measure to prevent forgeries. It carries deep symbolism. When destroyed, the ring seals the spiritual legacy of that pontiff, closing his cycle of leadership. But what happens to the fragments? Some say they are preserved in the Vatican's secret vaults, where they may still carry a portion of the power accumulated over generations. This cycle of creation and destruction makes each ring unique, but it also raises intriguing questions. How is the new ring consecrated? In a ceremony that remains one of the Church's best-kept secrets, it is believed that ancient psalms and forgotten rituals are performed to awaken the ring, spiritually linking it to the new pope. Is there, then, a transferable power that flows through the centuries, passing from ring to ring? The ring's use is not limited to the spiritual realm. In medieval times, the ring of the fisherman also served as a tool of political control. Documents sealed with the ring were regarded as divine decrees, absolute and unquestionable. Rulers feared the implicit power of a letter sealed by the ring, as challenging it was akin to challenging God himself. This places the ring not only as a symbol of faith, but also as a silent weapon of influence and diplomacy. The most intriguing aspect, however, is the personal connection between the Pope and the ring. It is said that the ring is not merely an external object, but a spiritual extension of its bearer. Some ancient accounts state that popes, in moments of intense solitude or spiritual doubt, would hold the ring as if it were an anchor, a direct connection to the divine. Could this be merely an expression of faith, or does the ring truly possess a presence that transcends the physical? In its essence, the ring of the fisherman is more than a relic. It is a guardian of stories, miracles, and secrets that span generations. Every fragment of its existence is shrouded in mystery, and every ceremony it participates in is a piece of a greater puzzle. For those who believe, it is tangible proof that faith can manifest in ways that transcend human understanding. There are those who believe that the Pope's ring's greatest role is not visible to the world. Since time immemorial, it has been described as a spiritual weapon in the ongoing battle between good and evil. But how could a simple object be so powerful as to influence the unseen? The answer may lie in its direct connection to the divine energies that protect the Church and the world. It is said that the ring carries a power that no malignant force can withstand. Historical accounts mention episodes in which the ring was used during critical moments of spiritual confrontation. One of the most well-known cases involves an exorcism conducted in the 17th century, during which a cardinal reported that the Pope used the ring as a last resort to save a possessed young woman. Upon being touched by the ring, she reportedly screamed that a celestial light was burning her from within, and the demon was expelled within minutes. But where does this supposed power come from? There is a theory that the ring does not act independently, but rather as an amplifier for the Pope's prayers and intentions. When wielded by someone with unshakable faith, it becomes a focal point for spiritual energy, channeling forces beyond human understanding. This explanation could also justify why the ring seems ineffective if used by those lacking a genuine connection to the divine mission. The ring's power has also been associated with protecting the Vatican from external threats. In historical documents preserved in the secret archives, there are records of rituals performed in medieval times in which the ring was placed at the center of an altar to invoke divine protection. During one such ceremony, which took place at the height of the Black Death, witnesses claimed to have seen a faint light emanating from the ring as monks chanted in Latin. Was this merely an illusion born of desperate faith, or something deeper? Conspiracies involving the ring are also common. Secret societies throughout the centuries have sought to obtain the object, believing it could be used to control or corrupt the Church's power. The Knights Templar, for instance, were accused of pursuing the ring as part of their quest for sacred artifacts. Later theories suggest that the Illuminati planned attacks to destroy it, believing that without it, the Church would lose its spiritual strength. What if the ring were truly lost or destroyed outside of the official ritual? This question echoes among scholars and theologians. Some believe the ring cannot be replicated, as its strength comes from a unique consecration involving prayers and rituals secretly passed down since St. Peter. But what would happen if malevolent forces managed to corrupt this power? The Church has always denied such possibilities, but the secrecy surrounding the ring only fuels speculation. Another intriguing aspect is the role of the ring as a spiritual sentinel. Some say it acts as a radar, allowing the Pope to sense spiritual crises before they manifest in the physical world. In 1963, during a secret meeting at the Vatican, the Pope reportedly described a sensation of unbearable pressure while wearing the ring. Days later, an incident involving a satanic cult was uncovered, supposedly already foreseen by the pontiff's spiritual unease. But the battle against invisible forces is not limited to the Church. Some scholars believe the ring is connected to other sacred artifacts, such as the Spear of Destiny and the Shroud of Turin. These objects, together, are thought to form a network of spiritual protection that maintains the balance between good and evil in the world. There are even those who suggest that the ring periodically needs to be recharged in sacred places to maintain its power. Despite so many stories, the ring has never been displayed as a miraculous artifact. On the contrary, it is treated with almost reverent discretion, as if its true nature cannot be revealed. Some believe this caution is intentional, as exposing the ring's true power could attract dark forces attempting to destroy or corrupt it. At the center of it all is the Pope. He is not just the bearer of the ring, but also its guardian. It is said that in moments of deep prayer, the Pope can feel the ring's energy vibrating in his hand, as if it were more than a physical object, a spiritual ally sharing his mission. What makes the Pope's ring so fascinating is that, despite all the mysteries and theories, it remains a symbol of faith and protection. Whether as a sacred artifact or merely a testament to centuries of tradition, its presence serves as a constant reminder that the battle against invisible forces is real and that faith is often the most powerful weapon of all. Throughout history, the power of the Pope's ring has extended beyond the spiritual realm. For centuries, it has also been an essential tool in diplomatic and political relations, revered by kings, emperors, and world leaders as a symbol of divine authority. But what exactly made such a small object influence decisions that shaped the destiny of nations? In medieval times, when the Church dominated both spiritual and political landscapes, the ring was used to seal peace treaties, validate agreements, and even intervene in territorial disputes. The Pope's presence in a negotiation, symbolized by the use of the ring, was regarded as the direct approval of God. Leaders who kissed the ring acknowledged not only the Pope's supremacy but also his ability to intercede spiritually for their nations. One of the most emblematic cases occurred in the 12th century during the Crusades. It is said that the Ring of the Fisherman was presented as a divine guarantee in a treaty between Christians and Muslims for the temporary sharing of Jerusalem. Although this treaty was short-lived, the use of the ring as a spiritual mediator reinforced the idea that it was not just a symbol but a direct channel of divine will in critical situations. Another example took place in the 15th century during the Wars of the Roses in England. In an effort to bring peace between the houses of Lancaster and York, a papal legate delivered letters sealed with the Ring of the Fisherman, conveying the Pope's message as an attempt to reconcile the factions. Despite the political failure, the gesture demonstrated how central the ring was to the Church's diplomatic influence. But why did secular leaders attribute so much importance to the ring? The answer may lie in the Church's role as the guardian of spiritual balance. Many rulers feared that challenging papal authority, symbolized by the ring, would result not only in religious condemnation but also in political instability. For them, touching or kissing the ring was a way to obtain divine protection and the Church's support in their endeavors. Even in the modern era, the Pope's ring has continued to play a symbolic role in international relations. During World War II, Pope Pius XII wore the ring in public prayer ceremonies for peace while leading diplomatic efforts to protect refugees and civilians. Reports suggest that during meetings with ambassadors, he intentionally displayed the ring as a visual reminder of his moral and spiritual authority. In times of global tension, the ring has also been used to send messages of hope and unity. In the 20th century, Pope John Paul II used the Ring of the Fisherman during visits to conflict-ridden countries, where he was welcomed by crowds who saw in him not just a religious leader but a living symbol of reconciliation. The history of the ring in treaties and alliances is also filled with intrigue. During the Renaissance, conspirators attempted to forge papal rings to legitimize false documents and deceive world leaders. Aware of this danger, the Vatican implemented strict measures to protect the ring's authenticity, which only heightened its mystique. But the question persists: does the ring's diplomatic power come solely from its symbolism, or is there something more? Some historians speculate that the ring carries a spiritual presence that unconsciously influences those who encounter it. Rulers who touched the ring often reported an almost inexplicable sense of reverence, as if they were standing before a higher force. Was this merely the psychological effect of its symbolism, or was something deeper at work? Even today, the Pope's ring continues to inspire respect. It appears at public events as a reminder that the Church, even in a secularized world, holds a unique role in global diplomacy. Perhaps the true power of the ring lies not only in what it represents, but also in what it makes people believe: that there is a higher authority guiding the hands that shape the world's destiny. Within the walls of the Vatican, beneath the surface of one of the world's most influential institutions, lie secrets few dare to imagine. Among these mysteries, the Pope's ring holds a prominent place. It is not merely an object, it is intrinsically tied to the Church's secret archives and occult practices kept far from public view. What exactly does the Vatican know about this ring? And why is so much effort made to conceal its true properties? In subterranean vaults protected by guards and modern technology, documents describe the Ring of the Fisherman as part of a collection of spiritual artifacts possessing power beyond human comprehension. These records, written in ancient codes and languages, detail rituals involving the ring and its connection to divine forces. It is said that these texts explain how the ring should be used during moments of global spiritual crisis and how it might hold the key to preventing catastrophes beyond the physical plane. One such record, dated to the 14th century, speaks of a rare ritual performed on the night of a total eclipse. The ring was reportedly placed on an altar as cardinals chanted forgotten psalms, seeking protection against a dark force threatening the unity of the Church. There are no details about what occurred during the ritual, but it is speculated that the event marked one of the few times the ring's true power was awakened. But the Vatican is not just the keeper of answers, it is also the protector of unasked questions. Why is the ring destroyed after the death of each pope? The act is described as a symbolic measure to prevent forgeries, yet documents suggest that its destruction is also a means of releasing accumulated energies that, if uncontrolled, could become unstable. What exactly are these energies? Could they be dangerous, even to those who wield them? Beyond official archives, rumors suggest that the ring is connected to a secret network of sacred sites around the world. Locations such as Roman catacombs, underground chapels, and isolated mountains are mentioned in ancient maps stored in the Vatican's vaults. These maps are said to mark points where the ring could be recharged or used as a kind of spiritual key. But a key to what? Portals? Divine protections? Or something even further beyond human understanding? Conspiracies surrounding the ring also appear in confidential files. During World War II, for instance, there are reports that Nazi agents attempted to steal the ring from Pope Pius XII, believing it possessed powers that could be used to win the war. The Vatican has never confirmed this story, but the fact that the Pope kept the ring under absolute security during this time only fuels suspicions that there is more behind its protection. More recently, theories have emerged suggesting that the ring is studied in secret by a special order within the Vatican. These specialists are reportedly tasked with investigating its limits, unexplored potential, and even the risks associated with its use. It is said that these studies involve not only theology but also science and, intriguingly, elements of alchemy, as though the ring were a bridge between the spiritual and the material. One of the most controversial documents, difficult to access even for high-ranking church members, mentions that the ring has an energetic connection to other sacred artifacts, especially the Shroud of Turin and the Spear of Destiny. Together, these objects are said to form a kind of spiritual shield against malevolent forces threatening humanity. But the Vatican remains absolutely silent on the matter. Why? Another mystery is the ring's role in political decisions. Evidence suggests that, in past centuries, the ring was used to bless treaties and agreements between nations. Rulers who touched the ring in acts of reverence believed they were sealing alliances not only with the Pope but with God. Was this merely a symbolic ritual, or did the ring truly have the power to influence earthly events? If the Vatican guards so many secrets about the ring, what does this reveal about its true nature? For many, it is merely a symbol of spiritual leadership. But for those who believe the stories emerging from the shadows of the Vatican, the Ring of the Fisherman is far more. It is a living witness to centuries of mystery, a missing link between the visible world and the forces shaping the invisible. Even so, the Church has never confirmed any of these theories, maintaining the ring's aura of mystery. Perhaps, as some theologians suggest, faith does not require explanations, only symbols to strengthen it. And perhaps the Pope's ring is the greatest of them all. From ancient times, the ring has been a powerful symbol, present in stories that transcend cultures and eras. In the Bible, it appears as an emblem of authority, commitment, and divine covenant, drawing intriguing parallels with the significance of the Pope's ring. Are these mentions merely literary coincidences, or is there a greater purpose behind this recurring symbolism? One of the earliest biblical references to a ring appears in the book of Genesis 41:42, when Pharaoh gives Joseph his own ring, investing him with power over Egypt. This act, more than a gesture of trust, represented a transfer of divine authority, granting Joseph the right to govern in Pharaoh's name. This scene strongly echoes the ceremony in which the Pope receives the Ring of the Fisherman, symbolizing his role as the spiritual leader and representative of Christ on earth. Another fascinating example is found in the parable of the prodigal son, Luke 15:22. When the repentant son returns to his father, he is given, among other gifts, a ring. This gesture symbolizes his reinstatement into the family and complete forgiveness, marking a new beginning. Similarly, when the Pope accepts the ring, it signifies a new chapter, his union with the divine mission and his responsibility to care for every soul as part of the great Christian family. In the book of Esther 8:8, King Ahasuerus uses his ring to seal decrees that cannot be revoked. This reflects the historical role of the Pope's ring. For centuries, it has been used to seal documents of great importance, ensuring their authenticity and divine authority. The gravity of this act prompts reflection. The ring, when pressed into a seal, carries not only a message of power but also a spiritual declaration that resonates through time. What makes the symbolism of the ring even more intriguing is its connection to covenants. In the book of Exodus, the covenant between God and Israel is represented by sacred objects, such as the tablets of the law. While not directly mentioned, the ring is often associated with such spiritual covenants, binding its bearer to a higher purpose. When the Pope places the Ring of the Fisherman on his finger, he is not merely accepting a title. He is entering into an eternal covenant with God and humanity. The use of the ring as a sign of power, commitment, and forgiveness transcends Scripture. It reflects a universal pattern in which certain objects are more than symbols. They are tangible extensions of the invisible. In the case of the Pope's ring, its presence in church ceremonies and crucial decisions is not merely a formal ritual. It is a continuation of a long biblical tradition that assigns a central role to the ring in fulfilling divine plans on earth. Is this a coincidence, or a pattern that God has chosen to repeat throughout history? The Ring of the Fisherman, in its function of spiritual leadership and sacred bond, seems to be the modern manifestation of a symbol that has endured across ages, retaining its power and significance. Among the many mysteries surrounding the Pope's ring, one rarely mentioned is the possibility that it is more than a spiritual symbol. For some, it is considered a key that unlocks doors, both physical and metaphysical. But what does this truly mean? Ancient legends suggest that the Pope's ring holds a special role in accessing restricted areas within the Vatican, guarded not only by men but by spiritual secrets. One example is the Secret Archives, a repository of millennia-old documents and relics never made public. Reports indicate that in the past, the ring was used in specific rituals to open physical or spiritual portals to these locations, as if the object itself were divine authorization to unveil hidden truths. The idea of the ring as a physical key also appears in certain ceremonies. During the Pope's consecration, it is believed that the ring is placed on a special altar, where it is activated through chants and prayers. Some speculate that during this moment, the ring connects metaphysically to other sacred objects in the Vatican, forming a network of protection and energy. This activation, they say, ensures that the Pope is spiritually recognized by divine forces and the relics surrounding him. But what of the possibility that the ring is a spiritual key? Christian tradition is filled with references to portals between heaven and earth, such as Jacob's vision of a ladder linking the two realms. Could the ring be a tool to access such divine connections? Documents in the Vatican archives suggest that the ring of the fisherman has been used in secret ceremonies to invoke blessings directly from heavenly forces. While these accounts have never been confirmed, the idea of the ring as a contact point between the physical and the spiritual remains alive to this day. Stories about the ring as a key extend beyond the Vatican. There are rumors that it has been used at sacred sites outside Rome, such as Mount Sinai and Santiago de Compostela. In both cases, the ring is said to have been brought by the Pope or his emissaries, used to perform prayers and grant access to restricted areas of these locations. Some accounts speak of hidden passages within churches and monasteries that only the ring bearer could enter. Another intriguing mystery involves ancient maps stored in the Vatican, indicating points around the world where the ring should be used to activate lines of power, spiritual connections that traverse the planet, linking sites of high divine energy. If these maps are real, they suggest that the Pope's ring is not merely a symbolic object, but an essential artifact for maintaining global spiritual balance. Interestingly, this function of the ring as a key also appears in protective contexts. In medieval times, the ring was guarded with extreme care, as it was believed that in the wrong hands, it could be used to access secrets that might threaten the Church's security. There are even records of cardinals attempting to steal the ring during schisms, hoping to use it to validate their own authority. But what would happen if the ring were misused? Some theologians believe it cannot be activated by anyone not spiritually aligned with its mission. This reinforces the idea that the ring is more than a physical object. It responds to the faith and intention of its bearer. In unworthy hands, they say, the ring would become nothing more than lifeless metal. For those who believe in the ring's hidden power, its function as a spiritual key is also tied to prophecy. Some point out that the ring has been mentioned in apocryphal texts as an essential element in the final events described in the book of Revelation. Could it be a tool to open the gates of heaven, or perhaps to seal them against malevolent forces? What makes these stories even more intriguing is the Vatican's silence. While the Church has never confirmed these alleged functions of the ring, it has also never denied them. This absolute secrecy keeps the mystery alive, leaving room for interpretations that hover between the spiritual and the conspiratorial. In the end, the Pope's ring remains an object that inspires both faith and curiosity. If it truly is a key to unlocking hidden secrets, we may never know. But what is undeniable is that its presence, whether physical or spiritual, continues to open doors, not just in the Vatican but in the hearts and minds of all who believe in its power. Few Vatican traditions are as enigmatic as the ritual of destroying the Pope's ring. After the death of each pontiff, this object, so laden with power and significance, is destroyed in an act that blends symbolism, reverence, and an air of absolute secrecy. But why must something so precious, with such a rich history, be destroyed? What truly happens during this ritual? The Vatican's official explanation is that the ring is destroyed to prevent forgeries and misuse. During the Middle Ages, a time marked by schisms and internal disputes, forging the Pope's ring was a real concern. Leaders seeking to validate documents or even usurp the papacy attempted to replicate the ring to gain legitimacy. However, this practical justification seems to be only part of the story. The ritual itself is deeply symbolic. The destruction of the ring represents the conclusion of the Pope's mission and the end of his earthly authority. In a gesture reminiscent of the return to dust mentioned in Scripture, the ring, which symbolized the connection between the Pope and God, is returned to a state of non-existence. But is this act purely symbolic, or is there a deeper purpose behind this tradition? Witness accounts throughout history suggest that the destruction of the ring is not merely a physical process. The act is accompanied by chants in Latin and ancient prayers, some of which have never been revealed to the public. These rituals are said to be essential for releasing the energy accumulated in the ring during the pontificate. Without these prayers, rumors suggest, this energy could become unstable, causing spiritual imbalances. What does this really mean? Some theologians argue that the ring, over the course of a papacy, absorbs not only the Pope's prayers and intentions but also the Church's struggles and challenges. When destroyed, the ring releases these burdens, allowing the energy to dissipate, or, as some believe, return to the divine plane. This would explain why the destruction is carried out with such care, almost as if the ring were a spiritual vessel that must be emptied with precision. The fate of the ring's fragments is another mystery. Officially, they are destroyed or discarded, but persistent rumors suggest that parts of the ring are stored in the Vatican's secret vaults. Some theories propose that these fragments are used to strengthen other sacred objects or are preserved as silent relics of the previous papacy. If true, what might these fragments contain? Could they still hold residual energy? Moreover, accounts claim that the destruction ritual varies for each ring. Depending on the Pope, certain modifications are made to the process, reflecting the spiritual character of his pontificate. A curious example involves the ring of a pope who faced great persecution. During its destruction, it is said that the ring emitted a faint glow, as if resisting its end. Was this a coincidence, or a final display of the power accumulated during his mission? The destruction of the ring also carries political implications. In the past, it was crucial to destroy the ring quickly after the Pope's death to prevent it from being used by rival factions. Stories abound of cardinals guarding the ring with extreme vigilance during the mourning period, fearing it could be stolen or used to manipulate the election of the next pontiff. This underscores that the ring, even in its final moments, remains a focal point of power. And what if the ring were not destroyed? Some speculate that it could retain a connection to its former bearer, creating a spiritual imbalance or even interfering with the new pope's authority. This belief reflects the idea that the ring is not merely a symbolic object but a living extension of the papal mission. There is also a bolder theory, that the ring's destruction is an act of protection. Some believe that throughout history, occult forces have sought to obtain the ring after a pope's death, hoping to exploit its power for malevolent purposes. By destroying it, the Church ensures it never falls into the wrong hands. This would explain the absolute secrecy surrounding the ritual and the presence of only a few trusted cardinals during the process. Ultimately, the ritual of destroying the ring serves as a powerful reminder of the transience of human power. Even the Pope, with all his spiritual authority, returns to dust. The ring, a symbol of his divine connection, vanishes with him as the Church prepares to welcome its next leader. And so, the cycle begins anew. Over centuries, the Catholic Church has not only gathered stories but also accumulated objects of unparalleled power. Among them, the Pope's ring holds a central position, seen as the heart of a network of artifacts that together sustain the spiritual balance of the world. But what makes this connection so special? And what are the other objects that, when united with the ring, weave a web of mystery and power? One of the most frequently mentioned artifacts alongside the ring is the Spear of Destiny, also known as the Spear of Longinus. According to Christian tradition, this was the spear that pierced the side of Jesus during the crucifixion, symbolizing sacrifice and redemption. Some believe that the ring of the fisherman is energetically connected to the spear, as if both share a spiritual mission, protecting the Christian faith against forces that seek to overthrow it. Is it a coincidence that these two objects have survived for millennia, or is there an unseen hand guiding their destinies? Another artifact often associated with the ring is the Shroud of Turin, the cloth that, according to tradition, wrapped Jesus' body after the crucifixion. Theological studies suggest that the ring, the spear, and the shroud represent different aspects of faith: leadership, sacrifice, and resurrection. When united in secret ceremonies, it is believed that these items can channel divine energy to strengthen the Church during crises. But what happens in these ceremonies? And why are they kept in absolute secrecy? Reports suggest that the Vatican holds detailed records of occasions where the ring and other artifacts were used together. On one such occasion, during the Council of Trent in the 16th century, a special blessing involving the ring and a relic of the true cross was said to have been performed to protect the Church from heresies threatening to divide it. What exactly occurred during this event? Could this have been the key to maintaining the unity of the Catholic faith in such turbulent times? Beyond physical artifacts, there are also sacred sites connected to the ring. One such place is St. Peter's Basilica, built over the site where the apostle was buried. It is believed that the ring, upon consecration, is brought into contact with relics of St. Peter, creating a direct spiritual link to the first pope. This could explain why the ring is seen as more than a symbol. It is a living extension of Peter's legacy. Outside Rome, other locations also hold significance in this spiritual network. An intriguing example is the catacombs of Priscilla, where early Christian martyrs were buried. Some scholars suggest that the ring is periodically taken to these locations to be recharged, as if the remains of the early martyrs were a source of spiritual power. Does this sound like something out of an ancient myth? However, the connection of the ring to sacred artifacts has also drawn the Church's enemies. During the Middle Ages, crusaders and secret orders sought to seize these objects, believing they could use them to gain temporal and spiritual power. Records indicate that an attempt to steal the Spear of Destiny in the 12th century nearly exposed the ring, which was protected at the cost of monks' lives. To what lengths would people go to possess what the ring represents? Even more intriguing is the idea that the ring, the spear, and the shroud are not merely separate objects but parts of a greater whole. Apocryphal texts suggest that together, these artifacts form a spiritual shield capable of protecting the world from forces of destruction that remain dormant. But who would dare test such a theory, knowing that failure could bring unimaginable consequences? Some scholars go even further, pointing to the Holy Grail as a fourth element in this spiritual network. It is said that the chalice used by Jesus at the Last Supper shares the same divine essence as the ring, functioning as a channel for energies that transcend the physical world. Is it a coincidence that the Vatican has never officially denied these connections, while also never confirming them? The relationship between the ring and other objects of power is not merely symbolic. It seems to be part of a web carefully constructed over centuries. This web sustains not just the Church but perhaps the very balance of the world. However, if one of these elements were lost or corrupted, the consequences would be unpredictable. Perhaps we will never know the complete truth about the Pope's ring and its relationship with sacred artifacts. But one thing is certain, it does not stand alone in its mission. Whether as a symbol or as a channel of unseen forces, the ring is part of something far greater, a network of faith, power, and mystery that continues to fascinate and intrigue humanity. The Pope's ring, known as the Ring of the Fisherman, is far more than a symbol of authority. It carries centuries of history, spiritual mysteries, and a legacy that transcends time. From its mystical origins to its ritual destruction, through its connections to other sacred artifacts and its role as a spiritual key, it remains a unique piece that continues to captivate and inspire. Over the centuries, the ring has been both witness and protagonist to pivotal moments in the Church and the world. Whether as a channel of divine power, an object of veneration, or a tool of diplomatic influence, it stands as a reminder of the bond between the human and the divine. And even with so many mysteries uncovered, there is always more to discover. What other spiritual topics would you like to explore? Let me know your suggestions in the comments and help shape the next content of this journey. If you're interested in exploring more about spirituality, I've curated a selection of videos filled with profound insights and fascinating discoveries that you're sure to love. Just click on one to begin. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of self-discovery and spiritual learning. Your commitment to knowledge is the first step toward transforming your reality.